What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol TSM for Taiwan Semiconductors. On the left-hand side, we are looking at the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. This is a very interesting stock right now because of its position structurally from the daily perspective. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, it's this very obvious area of support here at $108 right on the penny, right? So if you look at all of these interactions, one, a cluster here, we'll call that two. We're finally getting into it for another test right about now. So this is going to bring up opportunity, right? Do we break down here and see a massive flush, or do we see a reversal back up and out? Those are the two scenarios that we are going to be monitoring for inside of TSM. Other clear areas on the daily perspective are certainly going to be up here around 113.50, and then after that, sort of the balance highs are way up here. So if you just want to treat this overall zone as a balance, right, what you do is just consider this, and then on a break of that balance, if we just adjust this chart for a moment here, let's make this a little easier to look at. So there we go. On a break of the balance, you're always looking to double the range that you put in. So in this case, just on a quick eyeball test, I would argue it looks like we're headed down towards $95, $96 on a true doubling of the range that we see so far. I'm not saying it has to get there all in one day or all in a week or anything like that, but that would be the true target of a doubling of the range breakdown. Talking about intraday levels now, taking a look at the 30-minute intraday chart to see what type of action is unfolding here. Is it really bearish? Is it really bullish? What's going on? Well, certainly the first reaction was bullish, right? This is clearly a bull move off of support, but on today's activity, we just slow grind back down into it. So that is slightly concerning that the bulls couldn't get anything going, especially with a pretty solid close here into the end of the day on Thursday. I mean, ideally, they would have held up in this sort of bull flag, something like this, and then broken out on today's session, but it simply wasn't the case. So a retest here strikes me as extremely weak, right? Very, very, very weak show of hand by the buyers, right? They're just not interested in defending this support. Otherwise, they would not have let this happen here around 108. So to me, I'm kind of partial to the downside. Ideally, we get a little bit more sideways consolidation on the daily, simply because we have a phenomenon called coming down from the top or up from the bottom in the opposite case. But obviously, coming from the top of the range all the way to the bottom with very little sort of pullback, consolidation, anything like that. So you never want to chase short when you've come from the top all the way down to the bottom. It just doesn't set you up for the best odds, but it is looking like a weak chart from that 30-minute perspective, as we have discussed. Now, on a break, we talked about that 96, 95 area, but is there anything else intermediate that we should be keeping an eye on? And the answer, of course, is going to be yes. So the first area is here at $105.60, and then underneath that, we have another shelf around 103. After that, I would argue 100 acts as a nice psychological magnet if we start trading sub 103, right? That is the bear case here inside of TSM. Obviously, we're favoring that with this sort of downside dribble after a failure to hold the move higher. If we do sort of get a little bit of bounce, a little bit of consolidation, let's scrunch this chart up and just map out probably the most bearish case would obviously be holding underneath the consolidation lows of that flag, or just underneath this zone here around 110.81. You can see prior support then turned resistance into the end of the day there on Thursday. So it strikes me as a very technical level. Again, if we just look at it from the daily perspective, let me just draw out a couple scenarios, then we'll sign off here on TSM. So consolidation that happens down here, fine, bearish. Any retest of 108, look for the break to get into those downside targets. If we start to take this zone out, look up above at 113.50. That's about 50% of the range. When we get there, reevaluate, see if we start printing inverted hammers, indecision dojis, basically anything that would make you question, is this little pop over? Can we flip short under the lows and put a stop loss up over the highs? So that's going to be it here on TSM. If you enjoyed the video or learned anything new, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.